What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, and good morning. This is a slightly different start to the day. As you can see, we're beside the van, but in the van, right there, something very unique. Actually, it's not unique at all. It's a giant bumper carrier. We are finally testing out this thing's bike hauling capacity today, because we're going to pick up a different motorcycle. Alright folks, we're inside the van, and there was part of a reason why I was so interested in getting this thing done the other day, because today we're hitting the road to go pick up another motorcycle. I got an interesting email from a fan who was like, I don't want this motorcycle anymore. Do you want it? And I was like, yes, I'm in. So we're going to go pick up a motorcycle completely sight unseen, and those of you who know me personally are going to understand why I am so freaking excited when we reveal exactly what motorcycle's coming home today. So let's hit the road and let's go see what we got. Alright folks, I think we found the right spot here, if I can get... There it is, the Hornet. Let me show you this, because this is actually really cool, because this thing is a different color than any of the other Hornets out there. So let me show you what's going on. Alright, so here is the bike, and you'll see it's in this lovely metallic blue right here, which Alex, the owner, he was saying that this was just Rust-Oleum metallic blue, and he's just got some really nice clear coat over top of it. It looks really, really nice. Kind of stuff that you'd expect to see on like a guitar. And you've even got the 919 stickers here on the back. So this is a 2003 model. So if you remember back in the day, mine was a 2007 in the red. This was originally silver. Honestly, from here, you wouldn't be able to tell it's not a stock paint job. It looks really slick. And so here we have Alex, who's actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, but you're handing me the keys to your 911, literally handing me the key, because there's only one now, to the 919. You never get these with two keys anymore. They just, they don't come that way. So what's your story with this bike? Why did you pick it up, and why, more importantly, I guess, at the end of it, why are you just donating it to the channel?
Well, I've got a lot going on. I do paint. This one's not that good, but I do paint and everything out of my garage. I've redone this orange on the Eclipse over here.
That's right. Let's see if we can get it in camera right back there.
I do a little paint shop out of my garage, and I also do glass, but I've just been working too much. I do not have enough time to ride, and whenever those new CF motos come out, that's what I'm going to be getting.
See, I told you there are people who are genuinely excited about those CF motos. Those things are sweet, man.
They are. They're fantastic. I've got to ride one, so as soon as they come out, I'm getting one as soon as they come to my dealer.
Nice. And so you just don't have time for the Honda anymore?
Yeah, and there was a company in Gladewater who called me as soon as they got it in, because I was actually looking for a CB, the next generation up, with the single-sided swing arm, the CB 1000. I was looking for one of those, and they got this in, and they called me, and I went up there in 2 hours and got it immediately. And so, I mean, I was like, I couldn't pass it up. I love dual exhaust coming out of each side. I mean, if you look at it, that is the Japanese bike. I mean, yeah, that's it. That's the silhouette. That's what you want.
They're total gems when it comes to motorcycling, and they are a dying breed. You see less and less of these on the road every year, and if you ever accidentally drop one, you're shit out of luck, because there are 0 tanks on the market anymore. Zero.
They bought a tank that I was going to buy.
Yep. So it's literally such a competitive market that 919 owners are outbidding each other were outbidding each other for the last stock tanks.
Luckily, I'm good at, I can get that line pretty straight on the other side, because that whole right side wasn't caved in, and I managed to match the line pretty good. So
Yeah,
I'm pretty proud of it.
Any 919 owner can attest that the first thing that hits the ground anytime a 919 goes down is not the handlebars, it's the gas tank. Every single time.
And then you just cry for a little bit. And
Just deep down in your soul as you realize that you've now got a project that you're probably never going to be able to finish. Well, man, I can't thank you enough for letting me take this off your hands. And it's time to go load it up and get it out on the road.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm sure this is going to work out great. First time with the Harbor Freight hitch. Going nowhere. Whew! My face is getting real red. Just spending a few minutes out in that sun. God damn. It is hot out here, but I did pull into a gas station. I just want to double check the bike is strapped down good before I commit to the next, 150-ish miles. Always pays to check the straps one more time. Just make sure nothing has slipped or anything. This one was always a little loose. It's not, it's mostly just extra security, just in case. And it's leaning forward just a little bit. That's the way you want it. Okay, well, some of you guys may not know, or some probably do. I'm originally from Chicago, but I've moved down to Texas, and being an adopted Southerner, let me share you one of my favorite things. You come in out of the heat, and you get yourself a cold drink. And it's spelled COLDRINK, one word, cold drink. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's cold. That is the only way you're gonna survive in heat like what we got. So I'm about to pound this entire thing before getting back on the road, or I may just pass out. Real quick, y'all, I need to shout out the sponsor for today's video, Flying Eyes. They're a local Texas company making the best sunglasses for your ride. They've got practically indestructible frames that are paired with thin stems that fit comfortably between your head and your helmet, so you don't get any of those annoying pressure points while you're riding. If you're in the market for a comfortable set of prescription glasses, Flying Eyes has you covered too. Check out all their different frame and lens styles and get 10% off your order with the code SPITE when you click that link down in the description below. Huge shout out to Flying Eyes for supporting the channel, and let's get back to it. Another day, another shirt. It has been so blisteringly hot out that I could barely go outside these last few days. But finally, we have some lovely overcast skies out there, and it's under 100 degrees. So I feel comfortable going out and riding this guy around. But before we do that, I always like to sit down and check out a motorcycle. I actually haven't ridden this thing since I picked it up. So first, we're just gonna do a quick little walk around check. This is hardly conclusive or anything, but it's just handy to do it. And if there's anything that's gonna cause it to fail inspection, I'll catch it here and be able to fix it before we get it in. So, all right, first thing I always like to do is just check the dashboard. Make sure that the lights come on. Yep. And then test the rear brake light. Yeah, that looks good. Test the foot brake light. This is actually the one that's important for Texas. Yep, that's doing the thing. Let's check the blinkers. Left side, right side. All right, we're good there. Let's turn it over. Starts right up. No weird noises. Let's give it a listen here. Something that's cool about the 919 is it's got a fast idle right here. That actually works really well and it moves smooth. That's impressive. Whew. Boy, does that thing run rich. Okay, next thing we're gonna do, just check the chain a little bit. That's a bit loose. Yeah, I think that's just out of spec. Now folks, it is worth pointing out while I'm doing this that I am gonna be doing a whole video on this, just these initial checks, how to do them, why you wanna do them, all that good stuff. But it's important that you get this done on any bike that you're unfamiliar with, just because you don't want to get out on the road on a motorcycle that you're unfamiliar with and have it go wrong because you didn't check it out. It's not that I don't trust Alex and the work that he's done on this. It's just trust but verify. Now it's starting to get hot. Okay, got to get moving. So guys, this isn't the full kind of state inspection. This is just the sort of thing that I do the first time I get on a motorcycle, just to make sure it's not going to explode underneath me. Speaking of which, let's get this motorcycle over to AF1. Let's have them run the state inspection so that I can go transfer the title on this bad boy. And let's take it for a little rip, shall we? Alrighty folks, an afternoon of bureaucratic silliness later. Luckily I don't have to scream about the bureaucracy today because it, while slow, got the job done. So the 919 is now free and clear, all registered and so forth. As I anticipated, it passed the inspection with flying colors. And I gotta tell you, riding this motorcycle again is bringing up a lot of emotions right now. I'm not gonna lie. So a little bit of story time for those of you who are unaware, and I believe these videos are public. You can actually scroll way back in time and see. I'll probably post some clips here. I used to own a 919. I had a red 2007. I bought it for $3 grand after I spent a year with my street rod, or maybe 6 months, I don't remember. It was pretty quick after I got my street rod that I went and got a 919. And it was my first sport bike. It was the first time I got on a motorcycle and realized, wow, these things are really fast. That was the first time I realized that there's a whole other world of motorcycling. And I would say that my first 919 definitely sent me on a crash course with the rest of my motorcycling career. Oh. Just the way it accelerates and the sounds that it makes. The smell, oh my God, the smell on this thing. Just everything about it reminds me of my own. Man. But unfortunately, that motorcycle had a deep flaw in it. It had it the whole time I owned it, and I couldn't figure it out until my buddy came over and we, ran some technological sleuthing, and sure enough, my throttle position sensor was bad on that motorcycle. So what would happen is when you're riding around, because of the way this bike's power band is, you end up riding right around 4,000 to 5,000 RPM. At least I do. Right at 4,500 on my original 919, it would shudder so bad because the throttle position sensor, it couldn't read neutral throttle or whatever around that point in the RPM band. It was a very strange problem. But it's possible I made it worse by screwing up the pin or something like that. That's one of the things we wanted to try. The only way to do that would have been to get a testing harness and plug a new computer in. And that was expensive. The other option, buy a new ECU. ECUs for this bike are $1,000. The bike was not worth that. The other option was to
cut the throttle position sensor off, go buy one from basically a Civic, and put it in there. And I was incapable of handling that, so I ended up selling it. And I swear to God, guys, I'm not making this up. My fiance can corroborate this. The night before I went and sold it for my VFR 800, I literally had tears in my eyes. And the idea of having it back is also, it's bringing up a lot of emotions in me, I'm not gonna lie. But it's also interesting to ride it again after so many years. I restored one over at Yaminoop while I was there, but now that I'm riding one that's in my name again, it's just, it's interesting because I have such rose-tinted glasses with this motorcycle, but I'm still capable of looking at it with modern motorcycling lenses because I've ridden so many different bikes. And there's a lot on this motorcycle that is truly impressive still to this day. The handling is so good. Holy cow. It darts into corners so nicely, and it holds the line so nicely because this was essentially a leader bike frame back in the day. This was their top shelf naked bike. This was essentially the CB1000R of 2002. The brakes are pretty darn stunning, I'm not gonna lie. They're surprising for just being direct line but rubber lines to Nissan calipers that are axially mounted. It does a pretty darn good job. The lever feels a little wooden. I reckon that some stainless lines would help that out a little bit. But one thing that's a little odd to me is how narrow these handlebars are. I completely forgot how narrow these stock handlebars are. And it really explains how every time a 919 goes down, the tank gets dented. These wings here, because the handlebars don't stick out, it doesn't protect the wings. And instantly, the tank gets dented. And you can't buy these tanks anymore. Famously, I think, I ordered the last 919 tank in America. The last one in the States, in the Candy Glory Red, is currently on the 919 that Yaminoop gave away twice. So this thing is kind of a rare gem at this point, and it's amazing that Alex was able to restore the tank after it went down. I personally, there's a couple of little spots here where I'd notice it, but you on camera, I would be stunned if anybody can tell, either on the GoPro or even on my fancy camera, that this bike went down. Now, one thing that is a little hit or miss for me is the ergonomics setup. I forgot how kind of narrow it was beneath the hips. I almost feel like lowering the pegs a little bit would make this bike a little bit more comfortable. But it's fine. It's completely workable. My knees are just a little aggressively bent. And then last thing, it's not as fast as I remembered. It's just not that fast of a motorcycle anymore. For the time, yeah, no, this was a fast bike. This was a properly quick machine. And it's got a lot of torque, again, for the time. Back in the day, the inline fours were just, they were these big, low-stressed, lopey things, and they felt so good, but they just didn't make the screaming horsepower that modern ones do. And it's interesting looking back with so much experience on legitimately faster motorcycles, bikes that would leave this thing in its dust, especially considering this thing only makes like 100 horsepower claimed. I think it's 104 claimed. I'd say about 90 of those are hitting the ground at the very bleeding edge. Maybe like 90 to 86 to 90 with, boy, I don't know, 45 to 50 foot-pounds of torque would be my guesstimate for this. It's really hard, but despite being a little bit lower down on power, it's still just a great bike. It cruises really well. A lot of inline fours are very buzzy, and this one does have some buzz factor to it, but it is a very smooth ride. The bars do have a little high frequency buzz in them, but it's really just, it's not enough for me to be like, this sucks. You know, I was riding the MT10, and oh my god, the handlebar buzz on that was brutal. That needed like vibration dampeners, man. This thing, it's not even just because it's an older motorcycle. It's just, it feels good. It feels really good. And then the last thing I do want to mention here, this is the hardest thing for me to describe, or well, probably the hardest thing for you to imagine, because only a 919 owner or somebody who's ridden one understands. These things stink. They stink. These things run so damn rich, and you're just sitting in a cloud of unburnt gas and stanky exhaust. It's a famous problem on these motorcycles. There are some times when I'm sitting at a stoplight, and if I have my vents open, I have to pop my lid on my helmet because I just feel like I'm choking on, you know, like I'm choking on whatever's killing the planet. But you know what? For all of the flaws that are in this motorcycle, I don't care. I don't care, man. I just don't. This is the motorcycle that that changed my life, and I can't even begin. I can't even begin to thank Alex for donating this motorcycle to the channel. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. And man, Alex, if you're watching, which I hope you are, if you ever decide that you want this motorcycle back, I promise I'm gonna take great care of it. And the moment you say you need it again, it's here for you, dude. I'm never getting rid of this bike. I don't care what happens. I'm never getting rid of this motorcycle. Unless Alex, you know, decides that he needs it back. But, what a machine, dude. What a machine. If you ever, guys, I know that this has just been unbridled simpery. It's a level of simpery that I have not put on camera in a long time. But if you ever get the opportunity to ride a 919, if you ever get that chance, give it a shot. It's I think these are special motorcycles. I think that these are, it's the image of motorcycle to me. When you say the word motorcycle, this is what I think of. Oh, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Otherwise, I'm just gonna talk all day about this machine. I am gonna be doing a full build series on this bike. I've already ordered a whole bunch of parts that are gonna come in. We're gonna update it. We're gonna make it a little bit nicer. I am gonna keep all of the stock parts though, because You'll never find another 919 this bone stock. They're all just covered in stickers and stuff at this point because they're cheap sport bikes. This is a rare piece right here, and whatever I take off is going to go sit in a hermetically sealed vault. So if ever we want to put it back to showroom, we can. But stay tuned for that if you're interested in a little bit of wrenching and a little bit of improvement on this motorcycle. And in the meantime, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.